I stood there in the dim light of that Brooklyn church, the kind with stained glass that casts rainbow shadows on worn wooden pews. My hands trembled as I adjusted my tie, staring at the altar where my only daughter, Emily, was about to say her vows. She was radiant in white, her smile wide for the cameras, but when her eyes met mine, that smile faded into something cold, accusatory. "Dad," she'd whispered earlier in the bridal suite, her voice sharp like a knife edge. "After today, don't expect me to call you that anymore. You've ruined everything." It hit me like a punch to the gut. Ruined? Me? The man who'd scrape by in a tiny apartment above a noisy diner, working double shifts at the auto shop to pay for her college, her dreams. But she believed the lies, her mother's poison, twisted tales of my so-called failures. "Emily, please," I'd begged, my voice cracking. "Let's talk. This isn't you." She'd turned away, clutching her bouquet. "It is me now. Mark's family has shown me what real support looks like. You're just baggage." The door slammed, echoing like a finality. As the organ swelled, I slipped into the back row, heart pounding. Mark, the groom, grinned from the front, his parents beaming beside him. Wealthy folks from the Upper East Side, all polished smiles and hidden agendas. I knew something they didn't. Or maybe they did. Whispers in the crowd, eyes darting my way. My old friend Tony, from the shop, squeezed my shoulder. "Hang in there, John. Weddings bring out the worst." But this wasn't just a wedding. It was the start of the unraveling. As the priest began, Emily glanced back once more, her face pale for a split second. Did she sense it? The storm coming? Little did she know, the real betrayal was just beginning, and it wasn't mine. The ceremony dragged on, each vow a nail in the coffin of what we once had. Emily's voice echoed through the high ceilings, promising forever to Mark, that slick real estate heir with his perfect teeth and tailored suit. "I do," she said, her tone steady, but I caught the flicker in her eyes. Doubt? Or just my imagination? Mark's mother, Vivian, sat up front, dabbing at non-existent tears with a lace handkerchief. She'd always looked down on me, ever since Emily brought him home to our cramped kitchen in Queens. "John, dear," she'd cooed once over brunch at their penthouse, "it's so quaint how you've managed on your own. But Emily deserves more stability, don't you think?" Her words dripped with fake sympathy, like honey over venom. I shifted in my seat, the wooden bench creaking under me. Tony leaned in, his breath smelling of cheap coffee. "You okay, buddy? Looks like you're about to bolt." "How can I not?" I muttered, keeping my voice low. "She's throwing away everything for that family." "They don't know her like I do." He nodded, eyes on the altar. "Weddings are blindfolds. But hey, remember when she was little? That time she fell off her bike in Prospect Park and you carried her home, blood and all? She called you her hero then." A lump formed in my throat. Yeah, I remembered. Flashbacks hit me hard. The scraped knees, her tiny hand in mine, promising I'd always protect her. But life got messy after her mom left. Cancer took Sarah too soon, leaving me a single dad juggling bills and bedtime stories. Emily was 10, all wide eyes and questions. "Why'd Mom go, Daddy?" she'd ask, curled up on our sagging couch. "I don't know, kiddo," I'd lie, sparing her the truth about Sarah's affairs, the fights that echoed through thin walls. But secrets have a way of surfacing, twisted by time. Up front, the priest droned on about unity and love. Mark slipped the ring on her finger, his grin widening. "With this ring I thee wed," he said, voice smooth as silk. Emily echoed him, but her hands shook slightly. Was it nerves? Or something else? Vivian whispered to her husband, Harold, Mark's dad. A burly man with a perpetual scowl made his fortune flipping properties in Manhattan. They nodded, satisfied, like they'd just closed a deal. As the kiss sealed it, applause erupted. I forced myself to clap, palms stinging. Emily turned, scanning the crowd, her gaze landing on me again. For a heartbeat, regret flashed across her face. Then Mark pulled her close, and it vanished. The reception was at a swanky hall in Midtown, all crystal chandeliers and white tablecloths. I nursed a whiskey at the bar, watching couples twirl on the dance floor. Emily hadn't spoken to me since the suite. Mark's sister, Lila, sidled up, her perfume overpowering. She'd always been the wild one, with tattoos peeking from her dress sleeves. "Uncle John," she said teasingly, though we weren't related. "You look like you need another drink. Family drama got you down?" I chuckled bitterly. "Something like that. How's the happy couple?" She shrugged, sipping her cocktail. "Blissful. But between you and me, Mark's got secrets. Nothing major, just business stuff." Her eyes darted away like she'd said too much. "Business stuff?" I pressed, leaning in. "Like what?" Lila hesitated, then laughed it off. "Oh, deal's gone south. Dad's always cleaning up his messes. But hey, Emily's tough. She'll handle it." She patted my arm and sauntered off, leaving me stewing. Tony found me again, plate of hors d'oeuvres in hand. "Eat something, John. Starving yourself won't fix this." "Fix what?" She's disowned me. I downed the whiskey, the burn matching the fire in my chest. He set his plate down. "Talk to her. Now, before they cut the cake." I scanned the room. Emily was laughing with bridesmaids, but her eyes kept flicking to the door, like she was waiting for someone. Or escaping. I approached, heart hammering. "Emily," I said softly, touching her elbow. She whirled, face hardening. "What do you want, John?" "Not Dad, just John." It stung. "Can we step outside?" 5 minutes. Mark appeared at her side, arm around her waist. "Everything okay, babe?" She nodded, but her voice was tight. "Yeah, my father just wants a word." He eyed me coolly. "Make it quick. We have toasts coming up." He kissed her cheek and walked away, joining his parents at the head table. Outside on the terrace, city lights twinkled below, horns blaring from the streets. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of rain. Emily crossed her arms, veil fluttering. "Say it then. Whatever excuse you have." "It's not an excuse," I said, voice steady despite the turmoil. "Your mom? She didn't leave because of me. There were things I shielded you from." She scoffed. "Shielded? You mean hid, like how you gambled away our savings? Mark's family told me everything. How you drove her away, lies, twisted truths." "Emily, that's not—" "Save it," she snapped. "They've given me a real family, a future. You're the past." Tears welled, but she blinked them back. "Don't call, don't visit, we're done." She stormed inside, leaving me alone with the city noise. Done? Not yet. As I re-entered, Vivian pulled me aside, her smile predatory. "John, a word about the family trust. Emily's inheritance from her grandparents, it's tied up, but we can help untangle it, for a price." Her words hung like a threat. Inheritance? Sarah's parents had left something, but I'd never touched it. What game was this? Back at my seat, Tony whispered, "What happened?" "They're after more than a wedding," I replied, piecing it together. "Greed, betrayal. But whose?" The toast began, glasses clinking. Mark's best man, some college buddy named Alex, raised his flute. "To Mark and Emily, may your love be as enduring as the family empire." Laughter rippled, but Emily's face paled slightly, glancing at me again. Then Harold stood, clearing his throat. "And to new beginnings. Emily, welcome to the fold. We've got big plans." As he spoke, a waiter slipped me a note. Unfolding it, my blood ran cold. "Meet me after. Truth about Sarah, dash Aunt Clara. Clara, Sarah's sister, estranged for years." She hadn't been invited. What truth? The cake cutting started, but my mind raced. This wedding wasn't the end. It was the spark. And as Emily sliced into the tears, avoiding my gaze, I knew. The real revenge was brewing, and it would shatter them all. The reception hall buzzed with laughter and clinking glasses, but I felt like I was underwater, the note from Aunt Clara burning a hole in my pocket. I hadn't seen her in over a decade, not since Sarah's funeral, where she'd stormed out, accusing me of everything under the sun. "You let her die alone," she'd hissed back then, her eyes red from tears or rage. Now this? A secret meeting about the truth? I crumpled the paper, scanning the crowd. No sign of her sharp features or that signature red coat she always wore. Tony noticed my distraction, sliding into the seat beside me. "You look like you've seen a ghost, John." "What's eating you?" I hesitated, then showed him the note. "This. From Sarah's sister. She's here somewhere." His eyebrows shot up. "Clara? The one who called you a deadbeat in front of everyone? What does she want now?" "No idea," I muttered, keeping my voice low as the band struck up a slow tune. Couples flooded the dance floor, including Emily and Mark, swaying like they were in a fairy tale. But her posture was stiff, his hand too tight on her waist. But if it's about Sarah, it could change everything. Tony rubbed his chin, the stubble scratching audibly. "Careful, man. Family skeletons don't stay buried. Remember how she vanished after the funeral? Rumors said she took off to Chicago, cut all ties." I nodded, memories flooding back. Clara had been Sarah's confidant, the older sister who played protector. They'd grown up in a rundown brownstone in Brooklyn, sharing secrets over late-night coffees. When Sarah got sick, Clara was there at first, bringing soups, arguing with doctors. But then the fights started. "You're not doing enough, John," she'd yell in our living room while Emily hid upstairs. "She's fading, and you're at that damn shop." "I was paying the bills," I'd shot back, exhaustion weighing me down. "What do you want from me?" she'd sneered. "More than this." Then she was gone, leaving me to handle the end alone. Now, as the song ended, I stood, weaving through the guests. Vivian caught my eye from across the room, her lips curling into the knowing smile. She raised her glass in a mock toast, Harold chuckling beside her. What did they know? Outside, the terrace was empty, city wind whipping at my jacket. "Clara," I called softly, feeling foolish. No answer. Then a shadow moved near the railing. A woman in a dark dress, hair pulled back tight. "John," she said, stepping into the light. It was her, older now, lines etched around her eyes, but that fierce gaze unchanged. "You came. Good. We don't have much time." I approached cautiously, the distant hum of traffic below us. "What's this about?" The note said truth about Sarah. She glanced over her shoulder as if expecting company. "Not here. Too many ears. Follow me." Without waiting, she led me down a side staircase to the street where a black sedan idled. "Get in. We'll talk at my hotel." Hesitation gripped me. Why now? After all these years? Her eyes softened for a split second. Because Emily's in danger. That family, she's married into wolves. And Sarah's will. It's not what you think. Will? Sarah had left a simple one, or so I'd thought. Everything to Emily, managed by me until she turned 25. But Clara's tone suggested more. I slid into the car, the leather cold against my skin. As we pulled away, I texted Tony. "Heading out. Cover for me." The drive to her hotel in Chelsea was tense, rain starting to patter on the windshield. Clara stared ahead, fingers drumming the wheel. "You look like hell, John. Still working at that greasy auto shop?" "Still paying the rent," I replied evenly. "Why the cloak and dagger?" "Just tell me." She sighed, merging into traffic. Sarah didn't die broke. There was money. Old, family money, hidden. But Vivian and Harold, they've been sniffing around it for years. Mark's no accident. He's their pawn. My mind reeled. "What? How do you know this?" "Because I helped hide it," she admitted, voice dropping. "Sarah confided in me before the end. She knew about your struggles, the gambling rumors, lies planted by her so you'd look bad if things went south. But the real betrayal? It was me. I took some of that money thinking I deserved it after caring for her. Shock hit me like a cold wave. You stole from your own sister? From Emily?" "Not stole, borrowed," she snapped, but regret laced her words. "I was in debt, bad investments." Sarah understood. She made me promise to fix it, put it back before Emily inherited. But now, with the wedding, the will's activation clause kicks in. Emily gets it all at 25, unless... complications. We arrived at the hotel, a modest place with a flickering neon sign. In her room, sparse with a single lamp casting long shadows, she poured us coffees from a machine. "Sit," she ordered, handing me a mug. Steam rose, mingling with the scent of stale air. "Complications like what?" I pressed, perching on the edge of the bed. Clara paced, her heels clicking on the thin carpet. "The will has a morals clause. If Emily's deemed unfit, say by associating with crooks, the money goes to charity, or worse, to distant relatives. Guess who's been digging? Harold. He's got dirt on everyone, including you. Me? I haven't done anything. She stopped, facing me. The gambling story. It's resurfaced. Mark's family is pushing it, saying you're a liability. They want Emily to cut ties completely, declare you unfit, so they can control the estate through her. Anger boiled up. That's why she said that today? They manipulated her? Clara nodded, sinking into a chair. Partly. But there's more. Sarah had a lover before she got sick. Harold knows. He was involved somehow, back in the day. Business partners or something shady. If it comes out, it tarnishes everything. A lover? The room spun. I'd suspected Sarah's distance, the late nights she blamed on work, but hearing it confirmed. Who? Tell me. Not yet, she said, holding up a hand. I need your help first. We expose them before they expose us. Emily deserves the truth, not their version. My phone buzzed. Emily. I stared at the screen, heart racing. Dad? Where are you? We need to talk. No, not Dad. She typed John. Clara saw. Answer it, but don't tip our hand. I typed back, busy. What's up? Her reply. Mark's parents just mentioned something about Mom's will. They're offering to help manage it. Said you might object. What's going on? Before I could respond, another text from Tony. Trouble at the reception. Lila's drunk, spilling beans about Mark's side deals. Emily's furious. Get back here. Clara grabbed her coat. We go now. This is our inn. Back at the hall, chaos simmered beneath the party facade. Emily cornered me in the lobby, eyes blazing. John, what the hell? Aunt Clara? I saw you leave with her. Mark's freaking out. Mark stormed up, face flushed. Yeah, what's this about? My family's trying to celebrate, and you're sneaking off with ghosts from the past. I kept calm. Family business, nothing to do with you? Vivian appeared, Harold in tow. Oh, but it does, dear John, she purred. We've been so generous, offering to handle Emily's inheritance. But if Clara's involved, well, she has a history of instability. Emily turned to her. What history? You said my mom's side was clean. Harold chuckled. Clean? Sweetheart, Clara's a thief. Stole from her own sister. We have proof. Clara stepped forward from the shadows. Proof? Or fabrications? Tell her the real story, Harold, about you and Sarah. The room hushed, guests eavesdropping. Emily went pale. What about you and Mom? Harold's scowl deepened. Lies. This woman's delusional. But Emily looked at me, doubt cracking her resolve. Dad, is this true? Before I could answer, Lila stumbled in, glass in hand. Oh, it's true, all right. Mark's been cheating on deals, and on you, sis. Ask him about that assistant, Becca. Mark blanched. Lila, shut up. The accusations flew, voices overlapping in a storm. Emily grabbed my arm. Tell me everything, now. As we huddled in a side room, Clara began spilling secrets, but a knock interrupted. Alex, the best man, looking nervous. John, there's a lawyer here. Says it's urgent. About the will. My stomach dropped. The reading, all ready. This was moving too fast, and as the door opened, I saw the trap closing. The side room felt smaller than it was, walls closing in like a bad dream. The air thick with the scent of wilting flowers from the reception tables. Emily's grip on my arm tightened, her nails digging in through my sleeve. Dad, who's this lawyer? She whispered, her voice a mix of fear and accusation. It was the first time she'd called me Dad in hours, and it twisted something deep inside me. Clara shot me a warning glance, her posture rigid. Stay calm, John. This could be their move. The door creaked open, and in walked a tall man in a crisp suit, briefcase in hand, his face all sharp angles and no-nonsense eyes. He looked like he'd stepped out of a courtroom drama, the kind where truths unravel families. Mr. John Harlan? He asked, scanning the group. His voice was smooth, practiced, like he'd delivered bad news 1,000 times. That's me, I said, stepping forward. Mark hovered nearby, arms crossed, while Vivian and Harold lingered in the doorway. their expressions a mask of feigned concern. Lila slouched against the wall, still tipsy, smirking like she enjoyed the chaos. Alex, the best man, fidgeted by the window, avoiding eye contact. The lawyer extended a hand. "I'm Elias Grant, from Grant and Associates. I represent the estate of Sarah Harlan. Apologies for the timing, but the will stipulates immediate action upon certain triggers, like a marriage." Emily's breath hitched. Mom's will? But she died when I was a kid. I thought it was all settled. Elias nodded, setting his briefcase on the table with a thud that echoed. "Not entirely. There are sealed provisions. With your wedding today, Miss Emily, we're required to convene for a preliminary reading. Only key parties, you, your father, and any named trustees." He glanced at Clara. "And you, Miss. Clara Voss, as co-executor." Clara's eyes widened slightly. "Co-executor? Sarah never told me that." "Additions were made privately," Elias replied, unflinching. He pulled out a thick envelope, sealed with wax that looked ancient. "Shall we begin? The full reading is tomorrow, but this outlines the basics." Mark pushed forward. "Hold on. As her husband, I should be here." Elias raised an eyebrow. "The document specifies blood relatives only for this phase. You can wait outside, sir." Vivian's smile faltered. "This is ridiculous." "Emily, darling, our family lawyer can handle this. No need for theatrics." But Emily shook her head, her resolve hardening. "No, I want to hear it now. Everyone else, out." Grumbling, Mark and his clan filed out, Harold muttering, "This isn't over, John." The door shut, leaving just me, Emily, Clara, and Elias. Tony had slipped in quietly, standing guard like an old comrade from our shop days. "I'm staying," he said firmly. "John needs backup?" Elias shrugged. "As long as it's not disruptive." He broke the seal, unfolding papers that rustled like dry leaves. Sarah Harlan's last will and testament, dated 6 months before her passing. "To my daughter, Emily Harlan. The bulk of my estate, including cash assets totaling $2.3 million, properties in Brooklyn and upstate, and shares in Voss family holdings." Emily gasped, covering her mouth. "Million? Mom was a teacher. Where did this come from?" Clara shifted uncomfortably. "Old money from our grandparents. Investments grew. Sarah kept it quiet to protect you." I felt a pang. Sarah had never mentioned this to me. Our marriage was strained by the end, her illness amplifying the distance. "Why hide it?" I asked, voice low. Elias continued, ignoring the interruption. "Conditions apply. The inheritance vests at age 25, provided the beneficiary maintains moral integrity and avoids entanglements with disreputable parties. Failure to comply forfeits to charity." "Moral integrity?" Emily echoed, frowning. "What's that mean?" "It's vague on purpose," Elias explained. "But there's a clause for challenges. Any party can petition if they believe the conditions aren't met." He paused, flipping a page. "Additionally, to John Harlan, my husband, guardianship of the estate until vesting, with a personal bequest of $100,000 for services rendered." Services rendered. It sounded cold, transactional. I remembered the nights by her hospital bed, holding her hand as machines beeped, whispering apologies for our fights. "I failed you," I'd said once, tears blurring her frail form. She'd squeeze back weakly. "No, John. Protect Emily from everyone." Elias cleared his throat. "And to Clara Voss, $50,000 on condition of full disclosure of any prior misappropriations." Clara went still. "Misappropriations?" Sarah knew about the loan I took. It was forgiven. "Not according to this," Elias said, handing her a sheet. "It details a $200,000 withdrawal from the fund, undocumented. You have 30 days to repay or forfeit your share, and face potential charges." Emily turned on her aunt. "You took money? From Mom's estate? Is that what Harold meant?" Clara's face flushed. "It was temporary. I was drowning in debt after helping with her treatments." Sarah agreed, said it was family helping family. "But you didn't tell me," I interjected, anger rising. "All these years, Emily struggling, and you had access?" She glared back. You were gambling, John. Or so Sarah thought. She didn't trust you with it. Lies, I snapped. I never gambled. That was a story to cover her own secrets. Elias held up a hand. There's more. A sealed letter for Emily, to be read privately. He slid it across the table. And a codicil. If any beneficiary is found to have colluded with outsiders to manipulate the estate, all assets revert to a trust overseen by an independent party. Emily clutched the letter, her hands trembling. Colluded? Like what Mark's family is doing? Possibly, Elias said neutrally. I've seen cases where in-laws try to insert themselves. Be cautious. Tony whistled low. This is a powder keg. John, you think Harold's behind the gambling rumors? I know he is, I replied, piecing it together. Flashback to a year ago. Mark introducing himself at our door, all charm and promises. I want to take care of Emily, sir, he'd said. But now it reeked of setup. Emily tore open the letter, eyes scanning the page, her face drained of color. Mom wrote she had regrets about a man named Victor, said he was a mistake, but he blackmailed her. Harold helped cover it up, for a price. Clara nodded grimly. Victor Kane. Old flame from before you, John. Harold was his business partner. They used it to get close to the money. Why tell me now? Emily whispered, voice breaking. Because she knew they'd come for it, I said softly, reaching for her hand. She didn't pull away this time. She wanted you protected. A knock rattled the door, Mark's voice. Emily? What's taking so long? Mom says we should consult our attorney. She stood, stuffing the letter in her purse. Tell them we're done for tonight. But as we exited, Vivian was waiting, a sly grin on her face. Everything all right, dear? She asked, too sweetly. Emily forced a smile. Fine. Just family stuff. But Harold stepped closer, eyeing Elias. Grant? I know you're firm. You represented that fraud case last year. Careful whose side you're on. Elias packed his briefcase. I'm on the Will's side, mister. Langford. See you at the full reading tomorrow. As he left, Lila pulled me aside in the hallway, her breath boozy. Psst, John. Mark's not who he seems. That assistant Becca? She's not just work, and Dad's got files on everyone, including Sarah's affair. They're planning to challenge the will, say Emily's unfit because of her unstable family. How do you know? I demanded. She winked sloppily. I snoop. But watch out. There's a private eye tailing you. Name's Riley, ex-cop, shady as hell. Tony overheard, pulling me away. We need allies, John. Call that old neighbor, Mrs. Patel. She knew Sarah well, might have proof. I nodded, mind racing. Back in the main hall, the party was winding down, guests trickling out. Emily approached, Mark trailing. Dad, I'm sorry about earlier. This is all so much, Mark interrupted. Babe, let's go. Honeymoon suite awaits, but his eyes darted nervously. Not yet, she said firmly. I need time. He scowled. With him? After what he did? What did I do? I challenged. Vivian interjected smoothly. Now, let's not air dirty laundry. Emily, remember our talk about securing your future? But Clara chimed in. Secure it how? By stealing it? Arguments erupted again, voices rising. Emily pulled me into a hug, whispering, help me figure this out. Please. As we parted, my phone buzzed, an unknown number. John Harlan? This is Riley. We need to meet. I have evidence that'll bury the Langfords, but it implicates you too. Evidence? Implicating me? The room spun. Who was playing whom? And as Emily drove off with Mark, her face etched with worry, I realized the betrayals were just starting to surface, deeper than I imagined. The phone vibrated in my hand like a live wire, the unknown number glowing in the dim hallway light. Guests milled around, their laughter a distant hum, but my world narrowed to that screen. Riley. The name Lila had dropped, the ex-cop tailing me. Evidence that'll bury the Langfords, but it implicates you too. My thumb hovered over answer, heart slamming against my ribs. What could implicate me? I'd spent years scraping by, honestly, burying grief in oil changes and late-night TV. I pressed accept, stepping into a quiet alcove where the scent of spilled champagne lingered. "This is John," I said, voice steady despite the knot in my gut. A gravelly voice came through, laced with a Brooklyn accent thick as fog. "Harlan, Riley here, private investigator. We gotta talk. Tonight. That diner on 5th, Murphy's. 10 minutes. Come alone." "Why should I trust you?" I shot back, glancing over my shoulder. Tony was chatting with Alex near the bar, but his eyes flicked my way, sensing trouble. "You shouldn't," Riley chuckled, low and rough. "But I've got files on Harold Langford that'll make your daughter's new in-laws squirm. Affairs, bribes, cooked books. But it ties back to your wife. You in or out?" I hesitated, memories flashing. Sarah's pale face in the hospital, her whispers of regret. Protect Emily. "Fine." 10 minutes. I hung up, slipping the phone away. Tony approached, brow furrowed. "Who was that?" "Lead on the Langfords," I muttered. "Gonna check it out. Cover with Emily if she asks." He nodded, clapping my shoulder. "Watch your back, John. These types play dirty." Outside, the rain had picked up, slicking the Manhattan streets with a glassy sheen. I hailed a cab, the wipers thumping like a heartbeat. Murphy's Diner was a relic, neon sign buzzing, the kind of place where cops and cabbies grabbed midnight coffee. I pushed through the door, bells jingling, the air heavy with grease and burnt toast. Riley sat in a corner booth, a burly guy in a trench coat, face scarred like he'd seen too many bar fights. He nursed a mug, eyes scanning me as I slid in opposite. "You look like her husband, all right. Sarah's type, honest, but beat down." "Don't talk about her like you knew her," I snapped, waving off the waitress. "What do you have?" He slid a manila folder across the Formica table, edges worn. "Harold hired me 6 months ago. Wanted dirt on you and Emily. Make sure the marriage stuck. Grease the wheels for the inheritance." I flipped it open, photos spilling out, me at the auto shop, Emily at her job in a midtown office, even old shots of Sarah. One showed her with a man, laughing in a park, his arm around her. Victor Kane, I guessed. "This proves what?" Riley leaned in, voice dropping. Harold and Victor were partners in shady real estate flips back in the 90s. Sarah got involved, romantically with Victor, financially with both. She invested family money, thinking it'd grow, but they skimmed it, left her holding the bag when deals soured. My fists clenched. She never told me. "Because she was ashamed," he said bluntly. "When she got sick, Harold covered it up, but for a cut. He blackmailed her into naming him as a potential trustee if you failed. But here's the kicker. You're implicated because you signed papers." "What papers?" I demanded, pulse racing. He tapped a document. "Loan agreements. Sarah forged your signature on some to access funds. If it comes out, you look complicit in fraud. Harold's planning to use it at the will reading tomorrow. Say you're unfit. Emily's tied to crooks via marriage. Seize control." Regret washed over me, bitter as the diner's coffee. I'd trusted Sarah, even through the distance. Nights she'd come home late, smelling of unfamiliar cologne. I'd chalk it up to stress. I should have asked more, I'd think, staring at the ceiling while Emily slept down the hall. Now it haunted me. "Why tell me?" I pressed. "You're working for him." Riley smirked. "Was. He stiffed me on payment. Figured you'd pay for the full dossier. 10 grand and it's yours. Bury them before they bury you." 10 grand? I don't have that." "Find it," he said, standing. "Or watch your daughter lose everything. Call me by dawn." He tossed a burner phone on the table and left. The doorbell's echoing. I sat there, folder in hand, mind spinning. Back at my apartment in Queens, the stairs creaked underfoot. The familiar smell of takeout and musty carpet grounding me. Tony waited on the couch, a beer in hand. "Spill, John." I did, showing him the files. His face darkened. "This Riley's a snake. We need real help. Remember Mrs. Patel? Your old neighbor from the brownstone days. She was Sarah's friend, kept diaries or something. Might have proof Sarah acted alone. Mrs. Patel, Indira, a kind widow who'd babysat Emily, shared curries over fence chats. She'd moved to a senior home in Brooklyn after her husband passed. "Worth a shot," I agreed. I dialed her number, the line crackling. "John? Is that you?" Her voice was warm, accented like a hug. "So late. Everything all right?" "Not really," I admitted. "It's about Sarah. And Emily's wedding. We need your help. Anything you remember about her troubles." A pause. The secrets. Come tomorrow morning. I have letters Sarah wrote me. But, John, be careful. That Victor man. He called me once. Threatening. Said to stay quiet. Threatening? My grip tightened. "We'll be there." "Thanks, Indira." Hanging up, Tony yawned. "Get some sleep." Big day. But sleep evaded me, regrets looping. If I'd confronted Sarah sooner, maybe she'd have opened up. "I'm sorry," I'd whisper to her photo on the nightstand. Emily's childhood grinned beside it. Dawn broke gray and relentless. I met Clara at a coffee shop near the law firm, steam rising from our cups. "Riley contacted me," I said, filling her in. She stirred her drink, eyes narrowed. "Sounds like a setup. But those forgeries, Sarah did that to protect you. She told me once, 'John's too good. I can't drag him down.'" "Protect me? By lying?" Frustration boiled. "By surviving," Clara countered. "Victor was violent. Harold enabled him. We need to confront them at the reading." My phone buzzed. Emily. "Dad, Mark's furious. Says Aunt Clara's a liar and you're hiding things. His parents want a meeting before the lawyer." "Tell them no," I replied. "We're handling this as family." But she sounded torn. "They showed me documents. About Mom's affair. Said you knew and did nothing." "I didn't know," I exclaimed. "Emily, trust me. Meet me at Mrs. Patel's first." A sigh. "Okay, but Mark's coming too. He insists. Great. The enemy in tow." We arrived at the senior home, a quiet building with manicured lawns, the air scented with fresh bread from the kitchen. Indira greeted us at the door, her sari vibrant, a tray of tea ready. Mark trailed Emily, scowling. "This better be quick," he muttered. Indira led us to her sitting room, photos of her family on the walls. "Sarah confided in me," she began, pulling out a box of letters. "These are hers." Read. Emily opened one, voice trembling as she recited. "Indira, John's a good man, but Victor's threats are too much. Harold promises help, but I fear the cost. Don't tell anyone, especially not Emily." Mark snatched it. "This proves nothing. My dad's a businessman, not a crook." Indira fixed him with a stern gaze. "Young man, I saw bruises on Sarah. Victor's doing. Harold covered them up, took money for silence." Emily turned to Mark. "Did you know?" He shifted. "Dad mentioned old partners. But it's ancient history." "Not if it's tied to my inheritance," she snapped. "You're defending them?" "I'm defending us," he shot back. "Without their support, what do we have?" Clara interjected. "You mean, without stealing it?" Arguments flared, voices overlapping. Indira raised a hand. "Enough. There's more. Sarah gave me a key to a safe deposit box, documents proving Harold's embezzlement." My eyes widened. "Where?" "Bank in Brooklyn," she said, handing me the key. "But hurry. I heard Victor's back in town, asking questions." Victor? Alive and lurking? Chills ran down my spine. We left, piling into cars, Mark reluctant but following. At the bank, the vault air was cool, metallic. The box yielded files, ledgers showing Harold siphoning funds, Victor's signatures everywhere. Emily's face lit with fury. "This is it!" Proof. But Mark grabbed a page. "Wait, this has your dad's name too. Forged, maybe, but it'll stick." Just like Riley said. Implicated? Before we could process, my phone rang. Elias. "The reading's starting soon." But warning, Harold's brought his own lawyer and a surprise witness. We rushed to the firm, a sleek office in a high-rise, the conference room tense with polished wood and stern faces. Vivian smiled smugly, Harold beside her. Lila slouched in a chair, Alex nearby, looking uneasy. A new face, a grizzled man with a scar on his cheek. Victor Kane. "John," he said, voice oily. "Long time. Sorry about Sarah, but business calls." Emily went pale. "You're the one from Mom's letter." Victor nodded. "And I've got stories that'll change everything." As Elias called order, the room crackled with tension, but before he could read, Riley burst in, folder in hand. "Not without this." Chaos erupted. "You traitor!" Harold bellowed. Riley grinned. "Highest bidder wins." But as accusations flew, Emily whispered to me, "Dad, there's something else in the box. A note from Mom. It says you have a half-sibling from her affair." "A half-sibling?" The revelation hit like a freight train, and as eyes turned to me, I realized the deepest betrayal was Sarah's, and it was about to explode. The conference room air turned thick, charged like the moment before a storm, the scent of fresh coffee mixing with the sharp tang of polished leather chairs. Emily's whisper hung between us, her words slicing through the chaos. A half-sibling. From Sarah's affair. My hands went numb, the safe deposit files slipping from my grip onto the long oak table. Everyone stared, Harold's eyes gleaming with triumph. Vivian's lips pursed in mock surprise. Victor lounging back like he'd scripted this. "Dad," Emily said softly, her voice cracking, "did you know?" I shook my head, the room spinning. No. God, no. Inner turmoil hit hard, regrets flooding in. Sarah's distant gazes, her unexplained trips. I'd chalked it, up to the cancer, the pain meds making her withdraw. But a child, hidden all these years? She never said a word, I murmured, more to myself. Elias banged a gavel lightly on the table, calling order. "Settle down, everyone. This is a reading, not a circus. Mr. Riley, if you have pertinent documents, present them properly." Riley tossed his folder into the mix, smirking at Harold. "These show your client's embezzlement schemes, tied to Victor Kane here. Forged signatures, laundered funds through Sarah Harlan's accounts. But, yeah, John's name pops up too, courtesy of his late wife." Victor leaned forward, his scar twisting with his grin. "Sarah was clever like that. We had a thing, back when John was too busy fixing cars to notice. The kid? Ours? A boy, adopted out quietly. She didn't want the scandal." Emily stood, chair scraping back. "You're lying. Mom wouldn't hide a child." "Oh, she did," Victor replied coolly. "Named him after her dad, Ethan. I signed away rights for cash. Harold brokered it, kept it buried to protect his investments." Harold slammed his fist down. "This is slander. Elias, eject this man." But Elias scanned the new files, brow furrowing. "These appear legitimate. If true, it complicates the morals clause. Emily, your inheritance could be contested if family entanglements prove unstable." Mark jumped in, face red. "See, babe? This is what I warned you about. Your family's a mess. My parents can fix this. Set up a trust. Keep the vultures away." "Vultures like you?" Clara shot back, her voice sharp as a blade. She turned to Victor. "You slimy bastard. Sarah told me about you, how you pressured her, threatened to expose everything unless she funneled money your way." Victor chuckled. "She loved the thrill." "Admit it, Clara. You were jealous. Always the spinster sister, watching from the sidelines." "Enough!" I barked, standing. My mind raced back to a rainy night, Sarah coming home soaked, eyes puffy. "Rough day," she'd said, avoiding my hug. I'd made tea, sat with her on our worn couch. "Talk to me," I'd pleaded. She'd smiled weakly. "Just work stress, John. Nothing you can't handle, lies, all of it." Now it festered. Lila, who'd been quiet, piped up from her seat, nursing a water bottle. "Victor's right about one thing. Dad did broker the adoption. I overheard him years ago, bragging to Mom about tying up loose ends for a friend. But hey, family secrets, right?" She shot Mark a pointed look. "Like your little fling with Becca. Does Emily know the details?" Mark whirled on her. "Shut your mouth, Lila. That's over. Ancient history." "Over?" Emily demanded, turning to him. "You said it was nothing. A work crush. When?" He stammered. "Before we met." "Swear." But Dad helped cover it when she threatened to sue. Non-disclosure agreements. The works. Vivian interjected smoothly. "Darling, it's irrelevant. Focus on the will. Emily, sign with us. We'll manage the assets, protect you from this circus." "Protect or plunder?" Tony cut in, arms crossed. He'd slipped in earlier, my steadfast buddy from the shop. "John, show him the bank files. Ledgers don't lie." I spread them out, pointing to the entries. "Here." Harold's signatures on transfers from Sarah's fund to Victor's shell companies. Dates match her late nights. You used her affair to bleed her dry. Harold scoffed. Forgeries. Anyone could fake that. Riley laughed. Not these. I traced the originals. You paid me to dig dirt, remember? Well, I dug deeper. Elias adjusted his glasses, reviewing. This warrants investigation, but the will stands. Emily inherits unless proven unfit. However, the half-sibling revelation, if verified, could dilute shares. We'd need to locate this Ethan. Emily sank into her chair, pale. A brother? I have a brother out there? Victor nodded. Last I heard, adopted by a family in Jersey. Good life, probably. Sarah sent checks anonymously through Harold. Why? She whispered. Why hide him from us? Because of me, I admitted, voice heavy with regret. Flashback to our last real talk. Sarah in bed, tubes everywhere. John, she'd rasped, I made mistakes. Forgive me. I'd nodded, thinking it was about the distance, not this. Clara reached for Emily's hand. She was scared. Victor was abusive, left marks. Harold promised discretion if she invested in their deals. It spiraled. Mark paced. This is insane. Emily, let's leave. Our lawyer can petition to void the clauses, but she pulled away. No, Mark. You knew about Becca and said nothing. And your dad, involved in all this. He threw up his hands. Family looks out for family. Unlike yours, with hidden kids and stolen cash. Stolen? Clara fired back. I borrowed it, Sarah approved. Arguments escalated, voices layering over each other. Alex, the best man, finally spoke up, his face flushed. Mark, dude, come clean. I know about the side deals. You skimmed from Dad's company too, using Emily's upcoming inheritance as collateral. Mark lunged at him. You traitor! After all I've done for you? Elias banged the gavel again. Order. This reading is adjourned until we verify these claims. Court tomorrow for petitions. As we filed out, Indira waited in the lobby. I'd texted her to come. John, she said, hugging Emily. I remembered more. Sarah mentioned Ethan in a letter, said he was safe, but feared Victor finding him. Victor overheard, smirking. Maybe I should. Family reunion. Over my dead body, I growled. Riley pulled me aside in the hallway, the fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. Told you it implicates you, but for 20 grand now, I'll testify against them. Include locating the kid. 20? You said 10. Inflation, he shrugged. Or handle it yourself. Tony joined us. Don't trust him, John. Let's find Ethan ourselves. I know a guy, a hacker from the shop days, can trace adoptions. Emily approached, Mark trailing sullenly. Dad, I need space. But help me find my brother, please. Of course, I said, pulling her into a hug. She clung tight, like when she was little, scared of thunderstorms. Mark sneered. Sentimental, but fine. I'll help too. Prove my family's not the enemy. Vivian called from the elevator. Mark, we're leaving. Emily, think about our offer. She ignored them. Back at my apartment, we gathered. Me, Emily, Clara, Tony, Indira. The room felt crowded, takeout boxes littering the table, the city hum outside. Indira spread her letters. Sarah wrote coordinates, a P.O. box in Newark, sent gifts there for Ethan. Clara nodded. I can go. Make contact discreetly. But Emily shook her head. We all go. Tomorrow. Tony's phone buzzed. My hacker friend says he's got a lead. Ethan's adoptive name, Ethan Ross, lives in Hoboken, works as a teacher, 28 years old. My heart skipped. A son I never knew, older than Emily. What would he think of me, of this mess? As we planned, my phone rang. Unknown. John, it's Ethan. Victor contacted me. Says you're my father, and there's money involved. Meet me tonight, alone. Or I go public. Shock rippled through me. How did you? Doesn't matter, he cut in, voice steady but edged. Warehouse in Jersey City, midnight. Come clean, or I expose everything. The line went dead. Emily overheard, eyes wide. A trap? Probably, Tony said. Victor's play. Clara grabbed her keys. We back you up. But John, if it's real, I nodded, dread coiling. A hidden sun pulled into the fray. As we drove into the night, rain slashing the windshield, I wondered, was this Sarah's ultimate betrayal, or her way of giving me a second chance? But at the warehouse, shadows loomed, and a figure waited. Not alone. Victor stood beside him, gun glinting. Welcome to the family, John. Time to pay up. The warehouse loomed like a forgotten giant on the Jersey City waterfront, its rusted doors creaking in the wind, the air thick with salt and decay from the nearby river. Rain pelted down, turning the gravel lot into a muddy slurry under my boots. I stepped out of the car, heart thundering, the burner phone clutched in my fist. Ethan's call had pulled me here, my supposed son, dragged into this nightmare by Victor's greed. But Tony and Clara had followed discreetly, parked a block away, ready to intervene. Emily insisted on coming too, hidden in the back seat, her face set with determination. "He's my brother," she'd whispered. "We face this together." I approached the entrance, shadows dancing from a single flickering bulb overhead. The door groaned open, revealing dim interiors stacked with crates and forgotten machinery. The scent of oil and damp concrete hitting me. There he stood, Ethan, tall and lean, with Sarah's eyes staring back at me. Beside him, Victor, his gun loose in his hand, a smirk twisting his scarred face. "John Harlan," Victor drawled, voice echoing off the metal walls. "Right on time. Meet your boy, Ethan, say hi to Daddy." Ethan crossed his arms, his expression a mix of curiosity and wariness. He looked about 28, dressed in a simple jacket and jeans, like any teacher winding down after a long day. "Is it true?" he asked, voice steady but laced with hurt. "You're my biological father?" Victor tracked me down, showed me papers, said Sarah gave me up because of you. I raised my hands slowly, eyes on the gun. Not because of me. Sarah, she had her reasons. Affairs, threats. I didn't know about you until today. Victor laughed, a harsh bark. Reasons? She was scared I'd keep coming back. And Harold. Oh, he smoothed it all over, took his cut. But now, with the will open, Ethan's got a claim. Half-sibling to Emily. Split the pot, right? Unless you pay to keep it quiet. Pay? I echoed, stalling. Inner regret surged, Sarah's secrets piling up like unpaid bills. I'd failed to see the cracks in our marriage, too buried in work, in survival. If I'd known, I'd think on sleepless nights. Maybe I could have saved her from men like you. Ethan stepped closer, brows knit. Victor says you're a gambler, drove her away. But I dug around. Adoption records show Sarah listed you as uninvolved. Why hide me? Because she loved you enough to protect you, I said softly. From this mess, Victor's the one who hurt her. Bruises, blackmail. Ask him. Victor waved the gun casually. Ancient history. Sarah chose me first. You were the rebound, John. The safe bet who couldn't keep her satisfied. Shut up, Ethan snapped at him. I didn't come for your version. John, tell me straight. Did you know? No, I admitted, voice raw. She kept it buried. But if you're mine, ours. I want to make it right. Victor holstered the gun, but kept it in reach. Touching. But rights cost money. Ethan's willing to sign away his claim, for a price. $100,000 each. Harold's in on it too, but he's getting greedy. Cut him out, deal with us direct. Ethan hesitated, glancing at Victor. Is that true? You're using me to extort? Business, kid, Victor shrugged. Your mom owed me. This squares it. The side door burst open then, Emily charging in, rain-soaked, eyes blazing. Owed you? You terrorized her! I read her letters. You're a monster. Victor whirled, drawing the gun again. Well, well. The princess arrives. Even better, family reunion. Ethan's eyes widened. Emily? Sarah's daughter? She nodded, stepping beside me. Your sister, apparently. Don't listen to him. He's poison. Tony and Clara emerged from the shadows, Tony with a tire iron in hand, Clara's face fierce. Drop it, Victor, Tony growled. You're outnumbered. Victor smirked, but lowered the weapon slightly. Not quite. Riley's outside, watching. One signal, he joins the party. Riley? The double-crossing PI. My stomach twisted. You set this up, I accused Victor. Lured us here to force a deal. Smart man, Victor said. Harold wants the inheritance challenged in court tomorrow. But me, I want cash now. Ethan signs off, you pay, everyone walks. Ethan shook his head, backing away. I don't want any part of this. I have a life, a job, a fiancé. Victor showed up 2 days ago, spinning tales. Said I could get rich, meet my real family. Emily reached out. You are family. But not like this. Come with us. We'll sort the will legally. Victor raised the gun. No one's leaving till we agree. John, wire the money, or I start shooting, starting with the long-lost son. Tension crackled. Tony edged closer. Try it. I've taken down bigger thugs in bar fights, Clara chimed in. Victor, Sarah left evidence. We have it. Ledgers, letters. Police would love them. He laughed. Bluff. Harold's got pull. Cops in his pocket. Not all, I said, mind racing. Flashback to Sarah's funeral, Victor lurking in the back, whispering to Harold. I'd noticed, but grief blinded me. Now clarity hit. They'd been plotting even then. Ethan spoke up. Wait, if you're my father, prove it. Tell me something only Sarah would know. I thought hard. She loved jazz, used to hum Summertime when cooking, and she had a scar on her knee from falling off a bike as a kid. Told me it was her battle wound. Ethan's face softened. She wrote that in a letter to my adoptive mom, sent anonymously. Okay, I believe you, Victor snarled. Belief doesn't pay bills. Sign the waiver, kid. No, Ethan said firmly. I'm out. As Victor lunged, Tony swung the tire iron, knocking the gun away. It skittered across the floor. Chaos erupted, fists flying, shouts echoing. I tackled Victor, pinning him. It's over, I grunted. He headbutted me, blood trickling from my brow. Not yet. He broke free, grabbing Emily as hostage. Back off, or she gets it. Ethan froze. Let her go. Clara dove for the gun, but Riley stormed in, pistol drawn. Boss? What's the play? Victor grinned. Tie 'em up. We're taking the girl till they pay. But Riley hesitated, eyeing me. John offered more earlier, 20 grand to flip. Traitor, Victor roared. Riley shrugged. Business. He turned on Victor, cuffing him swiftly. Game's changed. Harold stiffed me too. John, you got my money? Tomorrow, I panted, wiping blood. After court. Emily broke free, hugging Ethan. Thank you, she whispered to Riley, then to her brother. Come home with us. He nodded, shaken. Yeah, but Mark, his family's still gunning for the money. Back at my apartment, the group expanded. Indira joined via video call, her wise eyes assessing Ethan. You look like Sarah, she said warmly. She'd be proud. Mark had texted Emily relentlessly. Where are you? Parents freaking out. Court tomorrow. We need a united front. She replied. United? After your lies? Bringing Ethan to testify against them. He called immediately. Ethan? The half-brother? Babe, that's leverage. Dad can buy him off. No more buying, she snapped on speaker. We're exposing everything. Mark's tone shifted. Emily, please. I love you, but if you do this, our marriage, it's over. She hung up, tears welling. He chose them, I held her. You deserve better. Tony scouted the files with Ethan. This kid's got stories. Victor harassed his adoptive family years ago. Proof for court, Clara added. And I repaid the loan to the estate last week. Bank records clear me. Elias rang next. Court in the morning. Harold's petitioning to declare Emily unfit, citing family scandals. Bring all evidence. As we prepped, Lila texted me secretly. Bro's panicking. Dad's calling in favors. Watch for Alex. He's flipping, has recordings of Mark's deals. Alex, the best man, turning ally. Layers peeling back. At dawn, we headed to court, a stately building in downtown Manhattan, marble halls echoing our footsteps. Harold's crew waited. Vivian prim, Mark sullen, Victor in cuffs, courtesy of Riley's tip to cops. The judge, a stern woman with glasses, called order. Petition to contest Sarah Harlan's will. Mr. Langford, your claims. Harold's lawyer presented. Moral failings, affairs, forgeries, hidden child. Emily's entangled, unfit, Elias countered. Evidence shows petitioner's involvement in fraud. Witnesses testified, Riley first, detailing schemes. Then Ethan took the stand. I'm Sarah's son, but I waive any claim. The Langfords tried to exploit me. Gasps rippled. Mark stood. This is bullshit. Emily, tell them, we're family now. She glared. Not anymore. I want an annulment, Vivian gasped. You ungrateful. The judge banged her gavel. Order. Based on submissions, petition denied. Inheritance vests to Emily Harlan, with John as guardian. Cheers from our side. But as we exited, Harold cornered me in the hall. This isn't over. I've got one more card. Sarah's real killer. Not cancer. Poison. And fingerprints point to you, John. Poison? My blood ran cold. Was he bluffing? Or had Sarah's death been no accident? As Emily paled beside me, I realized the deepest revenge was just unfolding. The courthouse hallway stretched like a gauntlet, marble floors echoing our hurried steps, the air heavy with the scent of old wood and fresh defeat on Harold's face. His words hung there, venomous. Sarah's real killer, not cancer, poison. And fingerprints point to you, John. Emily froze beside me, her hand slipping from mine, eyes wide with horror. The victory in court soured instantly, like ash in my mouth. Had I won the battle only to lose everything? Harold leaned in closer, his breath hot and sour, eyes gleaming with malice. You think this ends here? Sarah didn't die naturally. Autopsy buried it, but I have the real report. Toxins in her system, slow acting from her meds. Your prints on the bottles? I shoved him back, voice low and fierce. Lies. You monster, blaming me to cover your tracks? He chuckled, straightening his tie. Prove it. Cops will reopen the case. You'll rot, and Emily's fortune, ours through Mark. Emily stepped between us, voice trembling but strong. Get away from him, Harold. You've lost, the judge ruled. Vivian pulled at his arm, her face a mask of false concern. Darling, not here. We have options, appeals. But Mark lingered, staring at Emily. Babe, listen. Annulment, we can fix this. Dad's just upset. She turned away. Fix what? Your family's rot. Go. As they retreated, Ethan joined us, his teacher demeanor calm, but eyes alert. That poison talk, serious? Victor mentioned something similar last night, said Harold had dirt on you. Clara nodded grimly. Harold's desperate. But Sarah's death? I always wondered. She worsened fast, despite treatments. Tony clapped my shoulder. We fight this, John. Call Elias. Get ahead of it. Outside, the Manhattan sun blinded me, taxis honking like accusations. We piled into Tony's truck, the cab smelling of grease and coffee cups. Emily sat shotgun, silent, fiddling with her wedding ring, still on, a reminder of the mess. Dad, she finally said, voice small. Could you have? No, I replied firmly, meeting her gaze in the rear view. I loved her, flaws and all. The affairs, the secrets, I forgave. But kill her? Never. Regret clawed at me, inner thoughts swirling. Those final weeks, Sarah wasting away in our bedroom, the air thick with antiseptic and unspoken words. I'd crush her pills, mix them into tea. Open up, I'd say gently. She'd smile weakly. My rock, John. If poison was there, how? Who? Back at my queen's apartment, the group spread out. Indira arrived with homemade samosas, her presence a soothing anchor. Riley slouched in, paid his $20,000 from Emily's advance on the estate. Deal's a deal, he grunted, handing over a USB drive. More files. Harold's PI reports from years ago. Alex showed up next, the best man turned whistleblower, looking nervous in his rumpled suit. Lila had tipped him off. Mark doesn't know I'm here, he confessed, voice shaky. But I have recordings. Him admitting to skimming funds, using your family's money as bait for loans. Emily played one on her phone, Mark's voice, slurred from drinks. Emily's inheritance? Gold mine? Dad'll handle the legal crap. Becca? Just a fling, covered it. She winced. Bastard! Ethan paced, absorbing it all. This poison claim, let's debunk it. I contacted my adoptive mom. She has old letters from Sarah, mentioning fears of someone tampering. Never specified who. Indira nodded, munching a samosa. Sarah confided in me too, said Victor threatened her once, said he'd make her suffer slowly if she cut him off. Clara's eyes lit. Victor? He had access, visited during her illness, posing as a friend. I grabbed my keys. We confront him. He's in custody. Riley's tip got him arrested for the warehouse stunt. At the precinct, a dingy Brooklyn station smelling of stale donuts and sweat, Victor sat in an interrogation room, cuffed to the table. The detective let us in, owing Tony a favor from old shop days. Victor smirked as I entered. John boy, come to gloat. Cut the crap, I said, leaning on the table. Harold's accusing me of poisoning Sarah. But it was you, wasn't it? Tampering with her meds. He laughed, chains rattling. Me? I loved her, in my way. Nah, that was Harold's style. Subtle, deniable. He wanted her share of the investment silenced. Emily burst in behind me. Liar! Mom's letters say you hit her, demanded money. Victor shrugged. Rough love. But poison? Check the pharmacy records. Harold owned a stake in the supplier. Could have swapped pills. Ethan joined, voice even. You pulled me into this. Tell the truth, or I testify you coerced me. Victor's grin faded. Fine. Harold did mention handling Sarah if she talked, but proof? Gone, burned it years ago. Riley, waiting outside, added, I can dig, for another fee. No more fees, Tony snapped. We do this ourselves. Back home, we pored over files. Lila texted, Dad's at the house, raging. Mentioned reopening Sarah's case with a friendly coroner. Alex nodded. Mark's with him. Planning to smear you in the press. Gambler dad poisons wife for insurance. Insurance? Clara echoed. Sarah had a policy. $500,000 went to Emily's trust. I froze. I never touched it, but doubt crept in. Flashback, signing forms at the hospital, blurry from exhaustion. For Emily, Sarah had whispered. Had Harold manipulated that too? Emily stood. We need the autopsy. Elias can subpoena it. He did, fast-tracking. By evening, we gathered at his office, a cozy space with law books lining walls, the city skyline twinkling outside. Here, Elias said, spreading reports. Official cause, cancer complications. But toxicology shows elevated arsenic levels, slow poison. Emily gasped. Murder? Possibly, he confirmed, but no investigation back then. Harold's influence? Tony scanned. Your prints on bottles, John, but so are others. Nurses, Clara's. Clara paled. I helped with meds sometimes. Indira chimed in via call. Sarah suspected. Told me once. Pills taste off. Blamed chemo. Ethan added. My adoptive mom said Sarah wrote about fearing an old partner, Victor or Harold. A knock, Mark, alone, face drawn. Emily, talk, please. She crossed her arms. Why? To lie more? He entered, ignoring glares. Dad's unhinged, admitted to me. He tampered with Sarah's meds, not to kill, but weaken her, forced concessions on the money. Victor supplied the arsenic, traced to his deals. Stunned silence. Why tell us? I demanded. Mark sank into a chair. Because I love her, not the money. Dad threatened to cut me off if I don't back him. But seeing Ethan, this family's toxic. I'll testify. Emily softened slightly. Really? After Becca, the deals? Becca was a mistake, he admitted. Pre-you. Dad pushed her on me to spy on rivals. I'm done with them. Lila arrived then, breathless. I heard Mark. Good on you, bro. Mom's packing, leaving Dad. She knew about the poison, kept quiet for years. Vivian, flipping, layers unfolding. We planned, confront Harold at his Upper East Side townhouse, record it. Night fell, streets slick with rain. We parked nearby, wired with Alex's gear. Mark knocked, us hidden. Dad, Mark said inside, voice over the feed. Truth time, about Sarah. Harold's tone wary. What about her? You poisoned her. For the money, a pause. Nonsense. Victor's lie, Vivian interjected. Harold, stop! I told the kids. It's over. You bitch! Harold roared. Scuffle sounds. We burst in, the lavish living room, crystal vases shattering. Harold had Vivian by the arm. Traitors! Tony tackled him. Got you. Police arrived, tipped by Elias. Harold cuffed, spitting venom. You'll pay, John. I have one more secret. You're gambling? Real. Sarah covered for you, but debts remain. Collectors coming. Gambling? Me? Shock hit. I never... But Vivian nodded tearfully. Sarah said you did. Paid them off with estate funds. Emily turned to me. Dad, is it true? Memories crashed. 1 week moment years ago. Betting on horses to cover bills after Sarah's diagnosis. Lost big, hit it. Sarah found out, bailed me. Our secret, she'd said. Yes, I confessed, voice breaking. But I stopped. Swear. Emily stepped back, hurt flashing. Another lie? As cops hauled Harold away, a new figure emerged from shadows. A burly man, tattooed. John Harlan, debt collector. Time to pay up, with interest. Or, we take it from your daughter. The room tensed. Ethan shielded Emily. Over my dead body. But the collector grinned. Harold sent me, last gift. Gun drawn, he advanced. Shots rang out. Chaos. I dove, pain exploding in my side. Blood spread. Emily screamed. Dad. Fading, I whispered, protect her, like I couldn't. But as darkness crept, a voice, Sarah's. Not yet, John. Was this the end, or the ultimate revenge? Pain exploded through my side like fire, hot and unrelenting, as I hit the polished hardwood floor of Harold's townhouse. Blood seeped warm against my shirt, the metallic tang filling my nostrils amid the chaos of shattering glass and shouts. The debt collector's gun smoked, his tattooed arm steady, a grim smile on his face. That's for starters, Harlan. Harold says hi from lockup. Emily's scream pierced the haze. Dad? No. She dropped to her knees beside me, hands pressing frantic against the wound, her wedding dress, still on from the day's madness, staining red. I gasped, vision blurring, regrets crashing like waves. That one slip years ago, betting on a horse named Lucky Strike to cover Sarah's mounting bills. I'd won small, lost big, spiraled into debt. Sarah bailed me out, her eyes disappointed but kind. No more, John, she'd whispered in our kitchen, the fridge humming softly. For Emily. I'd promised, quit cold. But secrets fester, and now they bled me dry. Ethan lunged at the collector, tackling him with a teacher's unexpected ferocity. Get off him! They rolled, fists flying, the gun skittering across the rug. Tony joined the fray, his mechanic strength pinning the thug's arms. Gotcha, you bastard! He zip-tied the man's wrists with cords from a lamp, grunting as kicks landed. Clara grabbed Vivian, who stood frozen in the corner, her elegant blouse askew. Call 911! Now! Vivian fumbled her phone, voice shaking. Yes. Ambulance. My home. Shooting. Hurry. She hung up, sinking to the floor. This is Harold's doing. He called in the marker before arrest, said it'd tie loose ends. Mark hovered near Emily, face ashen. Let me help. Pressure here? Back off! Emily snapped, tears streaming. This is your family's fault. All of it. He recoiled. I didn't know about the collector. Dad mentioned debts, but not this. Lila burst through the door, breathless, Alex trailing her. Heard the shots from outside. Cops are coming. I called too. Bro, what the hell? Mark glared. Dad's revenge, even from jail. I wheezed, clutching Emily's hand. Kiddo, sorry, the gambling, truth. One time, stupid. Sarah fixed it. She nodded, sobbing. I know. Ethan's hacker friend pulled records. Small debt paid off. Harold inflated it, used Victor to collect. Ethan, wiping blood from a split lip, knelt beside us. The thug confessed already. Harold promised him a cut of the estate if he scared you into signing over. The collector, tied and groaning, spat. Yeah, boss said Harlan's a deadbeat. Owed big from old bets. Shoot to wound, make him beg. Tony pressed his boot on the man's chest. Wound? Looks like kill to me. Sirens wailed closer, red and blue lights flashing through the windows. Paramedics rushed in, pushing everyone aside. Gunshot, left abdomen, stabilize him. As they worked, needles pricking, oxygen mask fogging, I floated in and out. Inner monologue swirled, Sarah's face, ethereal. You tried, John. Protect them, had I? Or just buried mistakes? At the hospital, sterile halls smelled of bleach and worry, machines beeping steadily. Doctors stitched me up, bullet-grazed organs, but I'd live. Lucky, one said. I didn't feel it. In the recovery room, the group gathered, faces drawn. Emily held my hand, Ethan on her other side, their resemblance striking now, Sarah's nose, her determined chin. Dad, Emily said softly. Cops took statements. The collector's singing, implicates Harold fully. Attempted murder charge added. Clara nodded. Vivian's turning state's evidence, says Harold poisoned Sarah gradually, using Victor's contacts for the arsenic. She kept quiet for the lifestyle, but no more. Vivian in the hall spoke to detectives, her voice carrying. He swapped her pills, wanted her weak, compliant. When she threatened to expose the affairs and fraud, he upped the dose. Mark approached hesitantly. Mom's filing for divorce. I'm sorry, Emily, for everything. Annulment papers, ready if you want. She looked at him, eyes hard. I do. But why the change? He sighed. Seeing Dad's empire crumble. I was blind. Becca was his setup too, to keep me in line. I want out. Lila punched his arm lightly. About time, idiot. Alex and I are starting fresh. Maybe a food truck. No more family. Drama. Alex grinned. Yeah. Recordings helped. Cops have them now. Mark's deal's exposed. Riley sauntered in, smirking. Heard about the shootout. My file sealed the deal. Harold's going down for fraud, poisoning, conspiracy. Tony eyed him. For a price, right? Always, Riley chuckled. But this one's pro bono. Hated that smug bastard. Indira arrived, carrying a thermos of soup. John, eat. Strength for revenge, not violence, but justice. Ethan sat quietly. I talked to my fiancée. She's coming tomorrow, wants to meet everyone, this family. Warmth spread, despite the pain. But doubts lingered. The debt, was it really paid? I asked Emily. She nodded. Sarah handled it, but Harold revived it falsely, used collectors to pressure you. Elias entered, briefcase in hand. Good news, will's secure. Emily, funds transfer tomorrow. But Harold's appealing from jail, claims new evidence. What evidence? Clara demanded. A letter, Elias said. From Sarah, allegedly, accusing John of abuse, justifying her affair. I bolted up, wincing. Fabrication. I never laid a hand. Agreed, Elias said. But we need to authenticate. Court date next week. As they discussed, my phone buzzed. Unknown. John? Detective Ramirez. We raided Harold's safe. Found the poison vials, with your prints. But also a video, him planting them years ago. Relief washed. So I'm clear? Mostly, Ramirez replied. But the letter's real. Sarah wrote it. In anger, perhaps. We'll verify. Emily overheard. Mom accused you? Flashback hit. A fight. Sarah yelling about my long hours. You're never here, John. Like I don't exist. I'd stormed out, regretting it instantly. She must have written then. Yes, I admitted. We had rough patches. But abuse? No. Ethan stood. Let's find the original. My adoptive mom has more letters, maybe context. We drove to Hoboken that night, Ethan's modest apartment warm with books and plants, his fiancée, Mia, greeting us kindly. Heard the saga. Here's the box. Inside, letters from Sarah. One matched. John's temper scares me sometimes. Victor understands. Emily read aloud, voice cracking. But later ones. I overreacted. John's good, just stressed. Forgive me. Context, relief. But Mia added, Ethan got a call today. From a woman claiming to be Sarah's old friend, said there's another heir, a cousin, pushing claims. Clara frowned. Cousin? Our family tree's small. Tony checked his phone. My hacker says it's bogus, but traced to Victor's cellmate, another ploy. Back in Queens, exhaustion set in. Emily crashed on the couch, Ethan in the spare room. I lay awake, wound throbbing, mind racing. Revenge brewed, not mine, but fate's. Morning brought chaos. News blared. Real estate mogul Harold Langford charged with murder in wife's rival's death. Sarah's. Public now. Mark texted Emily. Dad's denying, but Mom confirmed. I'm testifying against him. She replied, Good. Stay away. Lila called. Sis, Alex found. It's something. Becca's back, suing Mark for harassment. Dad paid her off, but she's flipping. Mark's mess deepening. Then Elias rang. Urgent. Harold's escaped custody. Bribed a guard. He's armed. Last seen heading your way. Terror gripped. Why? Revenge, Elias said. On you. Hide. We barricaded the apartment, Tony grabbing a bat. Ethan loaded an old hunting rifle. From my dad. Adoptive. Sirens distant. But a knock echoed. John, it's Harold. Open up or I burn this place down. Emily whispered. He's here. I peered through the peephole. Harold, wild-eyed, gasoline can in hand. You took everything. Now you pay. Tony dialed 911. Clara yelled, Cops are coming. Harold laughed maniacally. Too late. He doused the door, flicking a lighter. Flames erupted, smoke billowing. We coughed, scrambling for the fire escape. But Harold burst in, gun raised. Die, John! Shots fired, pain again. Emily screamed. Who hit? As fire spread, I realized, this was his final betrayal, and our escape hung by a thread. Smoke choked the air, thick and acrid, clawing at my throat as flames licked up the doorframe of my Queens apartment. The heat hit like a wall, warping the cheap paint on the walls, the scent of burning wood mingling with gasoline fumes. Harold stood in the doorway, eyes wild with rage, his gun trained on me. You ruined me, John, he bellowed, voice cracking over the crackle of fire. Wife leaving, son turning, all because of you. I coughed, shielding Emily with my body, my fresh stitches pulling tight from the earlier wound. Put it down, Harold. Cops are coming. It's over, he laughed, a mad cackle. Over? I lost everything. The empire, the money. Sarah's fortune was mine to claim. He fired a shot into the ceiling, plaster raining down like snow. Ethan raised his rifle, steady despite the chaos. Drop it! You're not walking out. Harold swung the barrel toward him. The bastard son? Fitting. Sarah's mistake, just like you all. Emily grabbed my arm, pulling me toward the fire escape window, her face smudged with soot. Dad, we have to go. The hall's blocked. Tony smashed the window with his bat, glass shattering outward, cool night air rushing in, mixed with rain. Everyone out. I'll hold him. Clara helped Indira, who'd been visiting, her sari singed at the edges. Move, dear. Stairs are metal. Safe. But Harold advanced, kicking over a chair, flames spreading to the rug. No one leaves. Vivian ratted me out, said I poisoned Sarah. But you, John, you drove her to me. Your neglect, your debts. I faced him, hands up. Neglect? I worked to keep us afloat. You preyed on her weakness. He sneered. She came to me for help. Victor was rough, but I was smooth. Swapped her pills to keep her quiet about the funds. Arsenic, slow, like her regrets. Emily whirled. You admit it? Murderer. Collateral, he shrugged, gun unwavering. Now, sign over the estate, or I end this. Sirens wailed closer, but the fire roared louder, smoke billowing. Black. My lungs burned, vision spotting. Regret hit hard. If I'd confronted Sarah's distance sooner, maybe none of this. I'm fading, she'd said once in bed. I'd held her hand. Fight, love. But poison lurked, unseen. Ethan fired a warning shot over Harold's head. Back off! Mia's outside, called backup. Harold flinched but lunged, grabbing Clara by the hair. Auntie first, then. She elbowed him, fierce. Let go, you pig! Tony swung the bat, connecting with Harold's knee. He howled, dropping her, but fired wildly. The bullet grazed Tony's shoulder, blood blooming. Tony! I yelled, diving to pull him back. Emily screamed, helping Indira climb out the window. Hurry! The floor's hot. Harold staggered up, limping, gun raised again. All of you, down! But the door burst open behind him. Riley, pistol drawn, flanked by Detective Ramirez. Freeze, Langford! Hands up. Harold spun, firing at them. Ramirez ducked, returning fire. A shot hit Harold's arm, blood spraying. He dropped the gun, clutching the wound. You bastards! Riley cuffed him roughly. Escaping custody? Bad move. Add arson, assault. Ramirez nodded to us. Everyone out. Fire crews here. We scrambled down the escape, rain soaking us, the metal rungs slick. Below, Mia waited with Lila and Alex, who'd arrived after Lila's tip. Ethan! Mia cried, hugging him. Firefighters hosed the building, steam rising like ghosts. Paramedics checked us. Tony's graze bandaged, my stitches intact, though pain throbbed. Emily clung to me, sobbing. I thought we'd lose you. Again, I held her tight. Not yet, kiddo. Family sticks. Harold, cuffed to a gurney, spat as they loaded him. This isn't the end. My lawyers? Save it, Ramirez cut in. We've got your confession on wire. Vivian's tape from earlier. You're done. Vivian approached, escorted by cops, her makeup streaked. I recorded him at home before. Admitting the poison, the escape plan, for immunity. Mark stood nearby, face pale. Mom? You turned on him fully? She nodded wearily. For us, son. The lies end. Lila hugged her. Finally, Alex and I are out, starting over in Brooklyn. No more schemes, Alex added. Becca dropped the suit, said Harold threatened her too, testifying now. Riley grinned. My work here? Priceless. But John, you owe me for the save. Tony chuckled weakly. Bill the estate. Elias arrived, coat flapping. Heard the commotion. Courts expediting. Harold's assets frozen, will unchallenged. Emily, you're clear? She exhaled. What about the apartment? Indira smiled. Stay with me. Room for all? Ethan turned to me. Dad, can I call you that? Mia and I want in. Family dinners, the works, warmth spread. Yeah, I'd like that. But shadows lingered. Ramirez pulled me aside. One loose end, Victor's singing in jail. Says Harold ordered Sarah's hit, but you knew about the debts, covered for Sarah. I nodded. Old shame, but cleared now. He clapped my back. Case closed, rest easy. Days blurred into recovery, temporary stays at Indira's cozy home, filled with her cooking and stories. Emily filed for annulment, Mark signing without fight. I get it, he said over coffee, voice subdued. Lost my way. Therapy starts next week. She softened. Friends, maybe. Someday. Ethan and Mia visited daily, sharing photos of his life. Sarah sent anonymous gifts, he said. Now I know why. Clara repaid her loan fully, mending ties. Sarah would have wanted unity. Tony healed back at the shop. Business booming, your hero story drew customers. Riley cashed out, vanishing with a wink. Call if needed. But peace shattered one evening. A letter arrived, anonymous. Sarah's real killer wasn't Harold. Look closer. A friend, Emily read it, paling. What? But confessions. I frowned. Setup or truth? Elias checked. Forensics re-examined. Arsenic traces match a batch from Clara's old job, pharmacy tech. Clara? We confronted her at Indira's dinner table, curry steaming untouched. She broke down. I helped Harold, not kill but weaken. He threatened to expose my theft. Sarah suffered, but I thought it'd stop. Betrayal stabbed deep. Aunt Clara? Emily whispered. She sobbed. Forgive me. I loved her, but fear won. Cops arrested her, tears streaming. I'll plead guilty. Ethan comforted Emily. We rebuild. Stronger. As she hugged me, calling me dad fully, the will's weight lifted. But the letter's sender? Unknown. Then, a call from Becca. I sent it. Knew Clara's role from Mark's files. Justice. Closure. Almost. Yet whispers remained, Sarah's ghost, urging truth. The courtroom felt like a final battlefield, its wooden benches worn from years of judgments, the air cool and heavy with the scent of old paper and polished oak. I sat there, bandage side aching, watching Clara in the defendant's box, her once fierce eyes downcast, handcuffs glinting under the fluorescent lights. The judge's gavel had just fallen, sentencing her to 10 years for accessory to murder, helping Harold lace Sarah's meds with arsenic. Emily gripped my hand, her fingers cold, Ethan's arm around her shoulders like a protective shield. Clara Voss, the judge intoned, voice stern but not unkind. Your plea deal accounts for cooperation, but betrayal of family carries weight. Do you have final words? Clara stood, voice trembling. I let fear rule me. Harold threatened exposure of my debts, my mistakes. Sarah was my sister. I loved her, but I weakened her, thinking it'd buy time. Emily, John, forgive me if you can. Ethan, you deserved better from kin. Emily rose, tears streaking her face. Aunt Clara, you were my rock after Mom died. Why? For money? Clara's lip quivered. Not just money? Shame. Sarah confided her affair, the child, Ethan. I helped hide it, then Harold used it against us. I swapped pills to keep her silent, not kill. But it snowballed. I'm sorry. I felt the weight of years crush in. Inner regret swirled, Sarah's pale face, her hand in mine. Clara knows, she'd whispered once, eyes distant. I'd thought it was delirium. Now, truth burned. Ethan spoke up, voice steady. You hid me from the world. But I found my way back. Prison's justice, but family's more. Visit us someday. Clara nodded, escorted out as sobs echoed. Outside, rain pattered on the steps, washing the city clean. Emily hugged me tight. Dad, it's done. The will's ours, no more fights. I pulled back, searching her eyes. You called me Dad. After everything, she smiled faintly. I was angry, blinded by Mark's family, but you fought for me, for us. Ethan clapped my back. Brother and sister agree. Welcome to the clan, officially. Back at Indira's brownstone, the aroma of spiced tea and fresh Nayan filled the cozy living room. Photos of Sarah, now joined by Ethan's, on the mantel. Tony lounged on the couch, arm in a sling, grinning. Shop's yours when you recover, John. Partners? Deal, I said, warmth spreading. Riley had vanished with his payout, but sent a postcard. Debts cleared. Stay clean. Vivian arrived unannounced, elegant coat dripping rain. Emily, I divorced Harold. He's life in prison now, poison charge stuck, plus the rest. Emily crossed her arms. Why come? To apologize, Vivian said softly. I knew about the tampering, looked away for the luxury. Mark's in therapy, cutting ties. Lila and Alex are thriving. Their food truck's a hit. Mark had texted earlier. Sign the annulment. Be happy, sorry for the pain. She nodded. Tell him, peace. Lila burst in later, Alex in tow, carrying takeout boxes. Family feast. No drama, promise. Becca's lawsuit dropped. She's starting over too, Alex added. Recordings nailed Dad. Cops promoted Ramirez for the bust. We ate, laughter mixing with tears, stories flowing. Ethan shared childhood tales, Mia fitting in seamlessly. Sarah watched over me somehow, he said. Indira raised her cup. To new beginnings. Sarah's spirit guides us. But a final shadow loomed. Elias called, one last piece. Sarah's original letter, authenticated. She wrote in pain, accusing you of neglect, John. But a postscript. Ignore this. John's my heart. Relief flooded. She forgave. Emily stood. Then so do I. The inheritance? We'll split it. Me, you, Ethan. Build something good. A foundation for kids like us. Lost families. Ethan grinned. Deal? Teacher's salary could use it. As night fell, I stepped onto the porch, rain easing to a drizzle, city lights twinkling. Sarah's voice echoed in my mind. Protect them. I had, through fire and blood. Emily joined me. Dad, she went pale at the will reading. Me, realizing the lies, I hugged her. We all did. But we're stronger. A soft CTA slipped in naturally. If this tale of betrayal and redemption gripped you, hit like and subscribe. More stories await.